Without further ado, we will turn it over to our community partner and advocate and leader, Earth Lodge, to do some grounding work for us before we kick off tonight's presentation. Again, thank you all for coming with the most and deepest gratitude.
Following in a grain of gratitude, I want to give thanks for being able to be a part of the sacred educational Edu-series module this evening. My name is Jardina Aaron. I'm on the board of the Earth Lodge Center for Transformation, and I'm also part of our Healers Network. And part of the wellness modality that I bring to the community is drumming and sacred meditation for tonight. And so I'm going to invite you all to go on a journey with me to release, to ground, and to open our minds and our heart to get that extra burst of energy, be able to absorb the information that's going to be coming to us on tonight. We're located here in the Long Beach area, the West Long Beach area, and the specialty, the offering of the Earth Lodge is to provide Black Southern nature indigenous-based modalities of wellness. Connecting to the earth deeply is our birthright. We know the earth. At one point in our culture, we were literally dependent on the earth and understanding how she breathed and the herbs to save our lives because we could not get formal medicine. And so we're part of reclaiming that root. We're part of reclaiming our place in the holistic wellness movement. And so, Dawn, if you can cue that meditation, I'd like to invite you all on a journey. This music has the background of 132 hertz. Over the last 3 years, we've gotten a chance to get more connected to primordial sound, to understanding of frequency. 432 is a frequency that opens us up on the subconscious level, that allows us to increase our intuition, the knowing part of ourselves. Many of us who are understanding metaphysics believe that in the year 2010, cross into the Aquarian age, the age of I know. And what does that mean for a webinar like this? I know that I have a right to be well at work. That's the project that the Earth Lodge created as a partner of the SoCal Black Worker Hub as part of the CWOP program. That we have a right to be well at work. We have a right to be free of all of the isms, racism, hate, retaliation. We have that right. And so whether you're just now coming from work, whether you're en route from work, whether you're trying to get work, whether you make work by hiring others, I invite you to take a deep breath with me, deeper. You could be the boss. You could be the person who is being bossed. You could be going to school while working. You could be trying to be up for a promotion. You could be just trying to maintain any of the trauma that you experience. We're going to let that go with an exhale here. Feel free to make a sound. Because we're together, impact is amplified. Any retaliation that you experience in the workplace at any point in your life, collectively, we're going to make room and let that go. Inhale and exhale with me, please. Any racism that you experience in your job, any of the repercussions of that you felt in your home, because we know that we don't always leave work at work and bring it home. Let's inhale together and release that as well with an exhale. Gonna do 3 more. Sexism that you experienced on the job. At any point in your life, anyone in your household or close circle, please conjure that memory on the inhale, and collectively, we're going to exhale it together as a community. anytime that you were passed over as you were trying to have to come up, whether you had seniority, whether you didn't speak another language that's in demand, whether you weren't seen on the job for the qualities that you may have had after years of service, the pain and trauma of that, conjure that on the inhale, and together we're going to release it on the exhale. And last, we're going to call on our ancestors, our legacy. Those of us who have ancestors throughout the Black diaspora in this country and around the world who experienced wage theft to the magnitude of chattel slavery, who experienced wage theft to the term of being murdered for demanding freedom. Let those ancestors come to aid us in our current. Let those ancestors ride and bring us justice. Let those ancestors open doors with the agencies. Let those ancestors create and go forth to create a peaceful, a blessed, a harmonious, and safe and sacred workplace that we as Black people can be well at work, wherever we may find ourselves, in whatever industry. And we call that forth collectively as well. Black peace, Black joy, and Black wellness at work. On the inhale, and on the exhale together to solidify that number. Thank you for allowing me to share this brief grounding meditation. We're blessed to be a part of the hub. Feel free to join our newsletter at www.earthlodgecenter.org, and we look forward to continuing in solidarity.
Ashe, Ashe, and Ashe. Thank you, Yardina. So I'm just gonna take like 3 minutes to touch on this next piece around the importance of organizing. There's so many ways for us to address some of the barriers, the challenges, the discrimination, the anti-Blackness, and all the formations it shows up in our various systems that we have to encounter every day. But before I go into it, I want to invite everyone for a moment to one moment to just it's an invitation. Enter it if you like. If you don't, it's okay. But I want to invite everyone to just repeat after me 3 times. We're going to just say her name, Sonia Massey, or it might be Macy. I don't know the pronunciation. I'm going to say Massey. Sonia Massey. Sonia Massey. And Sonia Massey. You know, in this next piece, as we think about organizing and the various ways that we address systemic oppression and systemic violence, constantly being committed against us in whatever the oppressive forms are, economically, spiritually, in our food, politically, et cetera, right? And the direct physical violence. So just wanted to honor this woman, Sonia Massey or Macy, who right, whose life was taken recently. And just, we constantly are doing this work in resistance to that oppression. That is what the event coming up next month is about with Black August. That is what our work to create access and pathways and protections for Black workers is about. And we do that for those whose lives are being impacted by systemic violence, including Sonia Macy. So just wanted to name her, bring that spirit into our work this evening, and then I will now move forward into our next slide with the intent of us to organize, regardless of what area of systemic oppression we are dealing with. And in this case, in our workplace, is why we are here tonight. And so when we're experiencing, I'm going to transition this, right? Thank you, Sonia. When we are experiencing workplace violence, there are so many ways that we can address it, right? Or not address it. And some ways, some things that we can do is to do nothing, right? We see that in this top right color yellow circle of this graphic, right? We can do nothing, stay in a position, never address it, let it eat up our spirits, have to be over at the Earth Lodge all the time because we're sitting in the trauma of doing nothing, right? All right, we can file a claim, which is what we're going to get into tonight around workers' comp if we're experiencing something that's, you know, related to workers' comp, right? We can just leave and be like, I'm out, I'm not dealing with this, go someplace else. We could take legal action, right? Forget all of that, I'm going to file these claims, but I'm going to sue their behinds. And so there are so many ways for us to take action when we're experiencing workplace violence, but organizing in particular, right? It's about building power, right? More than likely, if we're experiencing something, it's very likely that other people might be. And so what is organizing, right? It is power building. It is leveraging our collective strength to address and resolve issues. It is a way to play a critical role in problem solving. It is a path to decision-making power when we are most impacted by inequity. It's our ability to influence decisions and resources that affect our lives. It's a route to gain workplace corrections, oftentimes much faster than waiting for, you know, our state system, for example, with the EEOC that can take 8 months to even get a hearing, right? If we organize, and in this last bullet point, empowering each other to creatively address the conditions, right? It might be workplace actions, it might be petition, a delegation that goes to have a conversation with that employer about addressing the condition, right? So it's just, there is a deep power in organizing, in addition to the things that we're going to be learning tonight about how to file various claims around, you know, workplace violations. And so for tonight, that's workers' comp. And so just to highlight around organizing, and in the name of Sonia Massey, and thank y'all. And I am getting ready to pass this right on over to the Inland Empire Black Worker Center, Itashe. So excited for y'all tonight and in general, and the work y'all are doing in the IE. Thank you. It is all yours.
Thank you so much, Dawn. Thank you for the hub. Thank you to the hub team. IE is so happy to join our hub partners this evening and just give you guys some insight into some of the work that we are doing here in the Inland Empire. And so we'll go to the next slide. We'll go back one. It's all right. We all here. We family. We gonna take our time. All right. Thank you so much, Dawn. So just to give you guys some insight, the Inland Empire Black Worker Center, we are partners alongside the Hub and the 3 BWCs and 2 incubated BWCs with Earth Lodge and CARE. And Black Women's Health, I believe, is another one of our partners here. But the Inland Empire Black Worker Center, we are COVID babies, and we were established in 2021. And we were convened by union organizers, community builders, educators, and faith leaders to address the regional unemployment crisis within the Black community living in the IE. From this crisis, we did realize that we need a space for Black workers to come together, learn together, and analyze what's happening in the economy together. And what we realized is that we needed to save ourselves. So hence, we come together to build solutions together. Next slide, please. The Inland Empire Black Worker Center, again, was founded in 2021, but it was founded in response to a report that was put out by union organizers, Care at Work, and also one of the authors of our senator and godmother of the BWCs, Senator Lola Smallwood Cuevas. And the response to this was to create a Black Worker Center and the need for one in the Inland Empire. And that report was called the Ain't No Sunshine Report, which can also be found on IEBWC's website. It also addressed very stark statistics, of inequity in the hiring process and promotions in the Inland Empire. And what the report also highlighted, that 40% of jobs did not pay enough to make ends meet. It also lifted the disparities in earning potentials for Black workers in the Inland Empire. This report was the foundation of the IEBWC, but also the foundation of our work. You can go to the next slide. Again, our mission at the IEBWC, which is the Inland Empire Black Worker Center, is to educate, train, and empower Black workers. Our vision is to bring justice, jobs, and dignity to the Black worker experience in the Inland Empire. We are a unique Black worker center as we do cover the largest region in landmass. We cover San Bernardino County, which is the largest county in the United States, alongside Riverside County. And now that we are joined by our brothers and sisters in the High Desert Black Worker Center, they are assisting in covering some of that space so that we can ensure that Black workers throughout the Inland Empire are represented, heard, and they are joining us in this fight for justice, jobs, and dignity. So we are so happy that they are here to expand our reach as we fight for Black workers. Next slide, please. In the IE, we do have an amazing team, and I want to introduce our team. These are the people that are working on behalf and alongside our Black workers as we are building a Black worker-led movement. Our executive director is Dr. Nosa Carey Thomas. Our associate director is Monet Warren. Your community organizer is me, Etisha Hinton. Our program manager is Carolyn Bolton. And we do have a team of civic engagement specialists who will actually be assisting me and giving you some information on our work this evening. That is Kiera Thomas, Takesha Jernigan, and Amma Wafer. So I'm actually going to turn this over to our team members and go into the work that the Inland Empire Black Worker Center has been doing as we have joined our partners in our CWOP work. The month of July, we actually focused on educating our workers in the IE and members on their rights and the benefits of the Crown Act, which we celebrated and highlighted throughout this month to stay on track with worker rights and protections. And so with this, I'm actually going to pass it over to Kiera. Next slide, please.
Actually, it's me, Amma.
Oh, I apologize. It is Amma, and I'm passing this over to Amma.
That's okay. Thank you, E. Okay, so I'm actually excited to announce this one because I am a hairstylist. So the Crown Act is what we'll be talking about today. So can we go to the next slide, please? So a short introduction of what the Crown Act is. The Crown Act stands for creating a respectful and open world for natural hair. It is a law that prohibits discrimination based on hair texture and protective hairstyles such as braids, locks, twists, and knots. Next, please. Sorry. In the origin of the Crown Act, it was introduced by Senator Holly J. Mitchell of California in 2019, Bill SB 188, sponsored by the Crown Coalition with introduced Dove, which includes Dove, National Urban League, the Color of Change, and the Western Center of Law and Poverty. California was the first state to enact the Crown Act. Governor Newsom signed the bill into the order on July 3rd, 2019. Next slide, and I will be turning this over to Kiera.
Hello. The lack of legal protections make Black women more vulnerable to economic and social penalties, and that sources from National Women's Law Center report. So the Crown research study was conducted by the Crown Coalition in partnership with Dove, And here are some of the key findings. Black women are 1.5 times more likely to be sent home from the workplace because of their hair. 80% of Black women reported feeling they need to change their hair from its natural state to fit in at the office. Black women's hair is 3.4 times more likely to be perceived as unprofessional, and Black women are 83% more likely to report being judged more harshly on their looks compared to other women. And the importance of the Crown Act to Black workers is that it protects Black workers from discrimination in the workplace due to natural hairstyles. It promotes culture identity and self-expression and addresses systemic racism and promotes inclusivity.
And I'm going to hop in before we press play here. We want to thank the Hub and the program manager, Darren, for their support. And the Hub supported IE and actually getting Black workers in this meeting for Echo of Black Voices a message directly from the author of the bill, Miss Holly Mitchell. And this is her message to the Black Worker Hub and all of its partners and the Black worker community in SoCal. So if we can press play from our message directly from the author of this bill.
Can everyone see the screen?
Yes, we can.
Hi, I'm LA County Supervisor Holly Mitchell, and I want to thank you for inviting me to share a few words on what the Crown Act has meant to me and the impact it's had on the Black community. When I authored the Crown Act, which was Senate Bill 188 in 2019, making California the first state in the nation to ban hair discrimination, that was a historic moment that was the result of decades of advocacy work led by Black women. The Crown Act, which stands for Creating a Respectful and Open World for Natural Hair, forces us to reckon with Eurocentric bias and makes it clear that the way we wear our hair should be our individual choice. In protecting that choice under the law, I hope that we're empowered to be unapologetic about our hair, our identity, our culture, and any other facet of our lives as Black women and as Black people. So, let's grab our curls, our locks, braids, whatever style you choose, and keep growing and standing firmly in our truth.
Oh my God, I love that.
Thank you so much to the Hub. And this just speaks to the power of the Crown Act and this protection is that this is representation that Black folks need in the workplace and another protection that has been awarded to us. And again, California is the very first state to enact this act. And so I'm actually going to pass this next couple of slides over to our other partner, Takesha Jernigan.
Hi, everyone. So as my previous coworkers previously spoke, race-based hair discrimination is a thing. So if you do find yourself facing hair discrimination or somebody you may know, here is a few ways to address hair discrimination. So you can file a complaint with your state civil rights department or your local human rights commission. And so for the Civil Rights Department, the email address here is contact.center@calcivilrights.ca.gov. Another one is just the general website, which is www.civilrights.ca.gov. Another way to file a claim is contact the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, which is the EEOC. And here is a phone number as well as emails. Again, if you're facing discrimination and how to file a claim. Next slide, please. And so here is our video. Here is our video from IEBWC.
My crown is protected.
My crown is protected.
My crown is professional. My crown is protected.
My crown is professional.
My crown is protected.
My crown is professional.
Thank you. And we want to thank everyone for joining us as we celebrated the Crown Act. And feel free to join the Inland Empire Black Worker Center as we are currently base building. And we can go to the next slide, Dawn. Thank you so much. The What's Your Power membership campaign was designed. Thank you so much. As the Inland Empire Black Worker Center, we are joining forces and building Black worker power here in the IE. The Inland Empire Black Worker Center has launched its membership campaign, and we want Black workers throughout the region to join us as we fight for justice, jobs, and dignity throughout the IE. If you live in the Inland Empire, you know your family lives in the Inland Empire, anyone that you may know that want to join the Inland Empire Black Worker Center in solidarity for the fight for Black workers, we have launched our membership campaign, which is called What's Your Power? The goal of this campaign is to empower Black workers to join together and create a force that's going to demand for policies to move forward that that benefit Black workers. And I'm going to let this young lady on the screen speak for me because I feel that she can say it best. So you can go ahead and play that, Dawn. Designed to help you recognize the power that lies in the collective strength of people who share your experiences, your language, your workplace, and your community. By utilizing advanced AI marketing techniques, our goal is to make this journey tangible by featuring images of individuals who resemble the true essence of a thriving Black community. This approach is meant to inspire our members and foster a stronger connection with our mission. Through membership, Black workers like you can uncover and unleash your unique power, and together, we will forge a formidable force that demands quality jobs, justice, and dignity, shaping the Inland Empire into the region we envision and we deserve. Thank you so much, Dawn. Next slide, please. The Inland Empire Black Worker Center, again, has opened up its membership, and we want you to become a part of our family here in the IE. And so we have a 3-tiered membership program where you are allowed to choose your level of participation and commitment to the org. We're not looking for everyone to be a community organizer or someone who is comfortable in always speaking. What we are looking for is the strongest part of you. We want you to become a part of our membership, a part of our family, and choose, again, your level of participation. We want you to lift yourself up in activism. Either if you are an artist, if you can speak to people in a way through poetry, we want you, and we are as powerful as you are. So again, we have offered a 3-tiered membership program for you to be able to choose your level of commitment to the organization. And we do have the Solidarity membership, which is our basic membership level that you can come in, a legacy membership, a community ally membership as well. The pricing is currently on the screen, but for this evening particular, we want to extend to the SoCal Black Hub, SoCal Black Worker Hub members and Echo of Black Voices attendees this evening. If you can go to the next slide, John. We want to extend membership to you at 50% off this evening. And this is a $50 membership where you are guaranteed and grandfathered your membership at the Black Worker Center for only $50. The IEBWC is the first Black Worker Center in the Inland Empire. And as we are building, one of the things that we are offering is legacy to our members, where you are able to place your photo and name on the wall at the center. We're offering a commemorative membership certificate and a commemorative lapel pin. So when you're out in these streets, you can let folks know you are a member of the Inland Empire Black Worker Center. We have more information on our membership as we are base building. We hope that you will join us. There is a QR code here along with our membership codes for that discount. But again, you can always use the QR code or reach out to any of us in the chat this evening, and we will be more than happy to assist you. And we want to thank you for allowing us this space, and we look forward to building Black worker power in the IE with all of you. To the Hub, thank you, and it's back to you.
Let's go to the next slide, please. Thank you so much, IEBWC, for all of your hard work and contribution this evening and all of the work and research you've done on the Crown Act, and by far one of our best presentations we've had since we've been doing these installments. So thank you so much for sharing community and space with us tonight. All right, y'all, it's that time for us to have a breakout group discussion. We will be breaking you all up, and we have a question for you, and it's basically about discrimination. So have you ever been discriminated against for filing a claim at work? And of course, tonight we have the Division of Workers' Comp in the building. So we want to know if that's ever been a situation you've experienced after like filing a claim, a workers' comp claim. So we're gonna break you up into breakout groups. I want to invite our state rep for this month to come in and introduce yourselves and get into the conversation of workers' comp. So without further ado, I think I'm turning it over to Oscar. Go ahead and kick us off.
That's okay. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for inviting us. And I would say thank you, Darren, and thank you, Eco Black Voices, for having us tonight. And also, my name is Oscar Gamino Rojas with the Division of Workers' Compensation, the Training, Outreach, and Publications Unit. So the presentation of basically the workshop will be, I would like to introduce the presenters. We have Veronica Leiva and Les Avaret, who they will be providing the workshop, and they are both assistant and information officers. So so I will introduce Veronica. You can start with the workshop.
Thank you. I'm Veronica. I am the information and assistance officer at the Long Beach office. So I'm just going to start with a quick disclaimer. The comments that are made during the presentation, their personal opinions, and any statements made cannot be construed as legal advice or policy positions of the Workers' Compensation Appeals Board, the Department of Industrial Relations, the Division of Workers' Comp, or workers' compensation judges. So just some quick housekeeping. We will help answer general questions, not specific to any case. And I believe you guys can submit all of your questions through the chat function. Okay, so what is workers' compensation? So if you get hurt on the job, your employer is required by law to pay for your workers' compensation benefits. You can get hurt by one event at work. Single event examples is like hurting your back in a fall, getting burned by a chemical that splashes on your skin. Another type of way that you can get hurt is by like a repeated event example. So like hurting your hand or back from doing the same motion repeatedly. And then some employer responsibilities. Your employer must provide a claim form, which is a DWC Form 1, within 1 working day of finding out about the injury. You can also access that form online at the dir.ca.gov website. And they will provide a claim form at the end of the presentation so you guys can see an example. We can go to the next slide. So medical treatment. What is medical treatment? What is medical treatment? Any treatment that's reasonably or necessary to cure or to relieve the effects of the injury based on the medical treatment utilization schedule, which is also MTUS. Who has control? So normally the employer has the medical control. However, if you have previously prognosticated your personal physician, then your personal physician will be the one to have medical control. But your physician does have to agree to treat you before you are injured. So for medical provider networks, if your employer has established an MPN, any necessary treatment will have to be provided by that physician within the MPN. An MPN is a list of physicians and other healthcare providers selected by the employer or insurer to treat injured workers. Utilization review, which is also known as UR. What they do is, so any treatment request from your treating physician may be submitted to utilization review to decide whether or not to approve, deny, or modify the requested treatment. They must do the review and make a decision within 5 working days from receipt of a request for authorization, but no more than 14 calendar days. If you do disagree with the determination by UR to deny or modify the requested treatment of your doctor, you can file an application for independent medical review within 10 days for prescription medication and 30 days for medical treatment after service of medical determination. We can go to the next slide. Temporary benefits. So what are temporary benefits? So assuming the liability of your claim is accepted, TD payments are intended to substitute for injured workers' lost wages during active treatment. TD is usually paid if your treating doctor takes you off work for more than 3 days, if you are hospitaled overnight, or if your employer does not offer you other work that pays your usual wages while you recover. TD is calculated. So how is TD calculated? TD is calculated by taking 2/3 of your gross pre-tax weekly wages at the time of injury. And there is a maximum and a minimum rates that are set by law. When does TD start and stop? So you will be paid every 2 weeks if eligible. Payments may not exceed 104 weeks of disability payments within 5 years or within a 5-year period from your date of injury. Payments end when you return to work or your doctor deems your condition permanent and stationary or maximum medical improvement, which means that your condition has stabilized and no change is likely. If you are denied or delayed temporary disability by the claims administrator, you have the option to apply for state disability insurance with EDD, which is the Employment Development Department. We can go to the next slide. So permanent disability benefits. What is permanent disability? So permanent disability is a benefit that's payable to an employee who has suffered permanent disability as a result of permanent injury. Permanent disability indemnity also compensates for loss of some or all of future earnings. Permanent disability is determined by a medical report by the treating physician, an AME, which is an agreed medical evaluator, or a QME, which is a qualified medical evaluator. How is PD paid? So if depending on the situation, permanent disability benefits will start after your condition is determined to be MMI, or PNS, permanent and stationary. Payments will stop once you have been paid the total dollar value of the impairment, that's determined by the physician. We can go to the next slide. So death benefits. What are death benefits? And if employee's death is caused by an industrial injury, the employer is liable for payments of death benefits to dependents. Who is entitled to death benefits? So a dependent must first qualify as either a good faith member of the employee's household or family, or a specified relative by marriage, blood, or adoption. How are they paid? They are paid in installments in the same manner and amounts as temporary total disability indemnity, unless the appeals board orders otherwise. The amount of death benefits are contingent upon the extent of the dependency and the date of injury. Currently, death benefits are, so if you have one total dependent is $250,000. If you have two or more dependents, total dependents, it's $290,000. If there are three or more total dependents, the amount is $320,000. For burial expenses, if the date of injury occurs on or after January 1st of 2013, the burial expenses are up to $10,000. Next slide, please. So for the supplemental job displacement voucher, for eligibility, so what the voucher is, it's for educational related retraining or skill enhancement. So you may be eligible to receive a voucher when your injury results in permanent disability and your employer cannot offer you to return to work, regular, modified, or a different type of job within 60 days after your condition has been determined permanent and stationary, or MMI. And there are time limitations. The voucher does expire 2 years after it is issued, or 5 years from your date of injury, whatever comes later. Next slide, please. And there also is a return to work supplement program. What that is, it's a one-time payment of $5,000 for injured workers who experience loss of earnings. So in order to receive that that return to work payment of $5,000, you must have received a voucher from the claims administrator, and your date of injury must be January 1st, 2013 and later. And in order to receive the return to work supplement program, you need to apply with the division of the Department of Industrial Relations, which is DIR, within 1 year from the date that that you were served with the voucher. And then if you need more information or help with applying for that benefit, you can contact your local INA unit. Next slide, please. Actually, I will pass it on now to Les.
Dispute resolutions. If you have any issues or questions regarding your entitlement to any workers' compensation benefits, you may contact the claims administrator, information and assistant unit, or consultant attorney of your own choice. You may request a list of attorneys you may consult with for free from your local information and assistant unit. If your informal efforts to resolve your disputes and concerns have failed, even with the involvement of an information and assistance officer, parties may consider filing an application for adjudication of claim with the local district office of the Department of Workers' Compensation. Filing an application invokes the jurisdiction of the Workers' Comp Appeals Board in resolving disputes regarding entitlement to workers' compensation benefits. A declaration of readiness to proceed is a form that is filed by parties to a claim for the purpose of obtaining a hearing and bring a matter or dispute before a workers' compensation appeals board judge. When a party to a claim is ready to litigate, the filing of the declaration of readiness to proceed will allow a conference. Next slide, please. Case conclusion. Settlement of workers' compensation benefits are based on the primary treating physician, qualified medical examiner, or agreed medical examiner medical report. There are two types of settlement: stipulation with request for an award and a compromise and release. A stipulation with request for an award is a type of settlement where the claims administrator will agree to pay for any reasonable and necessary medical treatment in the future based upon medical guidelines besides any indemnity as indicated on paragraph 2 and 3 on the stipulation. Settlement by stipulations will allow you to file a petition to reopen for new and further disability within 5 years from your date of injury. The compromise and release is a type of settlement where you will receive a lump sum amount for agreeing to release the insurance company of any workers' compensation related liabilities now and in the future resulting from the effects of this injury. If the parties are not able to reach an agreement by way of stipulation or compromise and release, both parties may go to trial and have a workers' compensation judge to make a determination to resolve issues involved. This is called a findings and award. Next slide, please. There are resources for injured workers. You can call a toll-free number listed there on your screen to hear recorded messages or request written materials. You can also visit our website there listed on your screen. If you need additional assistance in English or Spanish, please call your local district office to schedule an in-person appointment. Next slide, please. Information and assistant officers' roles and responsibilities. Information and assistance officers provide education, assistance, and mediation to the public to ensure that all benefits and services are paid to injured workers in a timely manner without unnecessary litigation. Information and assistance officers do not represent a particular party to a case and do not offer legal advice. Information and assistance officers cannot complete or mail any DWC or Workers' Compensation Appeals Board forms or petitions on behalf of an injured worker. Next slide. This is a flow chart of how your claim should progress. I'm not going to go through each and every step, but the most important thing is to immediately notify your supervisor and, if possible, fill out a workers' compensation claim form, DWC-1. Next slide. Attached is a copy of what a DWC-1 claim form looks like. You can find this at our website. You can contact your local INA office and they can either mail you a copy or give you one in person. If an applicant is unable to complete a form, you should try to have a family member or coworker help you. But if you need any further assistance, you can contact your local assistance, INA office for assistance. Next slide. I'm going to turn this back over to Oscar at this time.
All right, thank you, Les. Does anybody have questions for Veronica or Les?
Can one of you say a little bit about the types of different incidences that would trigger a workers' comp situation?
So Veronica, do you want to answer that question?
What do you mean by instances, like how people can get injured, different type of injuries?
Yeah, the various types of injuries, because some of them might be physical. I don't know if like, if someone, let's say, in our case, right, working with Black workers across the region who might experience either some form of retaliation. I mean, I know that there are other departments that will manage retaliation, but just other types of injuries. There's physical injuries. Are there other types of injuries that could potentially trigger a workers' compensation situation?
Yeah, so there's also psych injuries, and also stress injuries, anxiety. Those are all types of I guess you can say injuries that you can file a claim. However, some people, for example, will injure their back, and then sometimes either off work and they're at home, that can trigger depression for some people as well. They can get help for depression. However, the only thing is they would have to amend their injury to include, for example, depression, anxiety, stress. The only difference is, so for example, if you hurt your back and you're experiencing stress or anxiety, which falls under psych, you can get treatment. The only difference is that you won't be compensated for it. The only thing that you will receive is treatment. But if the injury itself is just stress or anxiety or psych, you can file a claim for that as well.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Right, so I'm gonna share in the chat the link for the survey. So if you need a further assistance, you can submit your information, phone number, and your zip code. And if you and also an information and assistant officer will be contact you soon. Okay. And also I would like to invite everyone. We have in your workers workshop monthly. We have the first Friday of the month is in English and the third Friday of the month is in Spanish. So they are totally free. You don't have to register. Just log in through the QR code and you will have access directly to the workshop. And that's it. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, the Division of Workers' Comp, for bringing this education and these resources to this space, because a lot of times there are some resources out there that we don't know about or we don't have specific access to them. Or, we just need to have a few things broken down to us to see like how we go about like our path of filing a claim or accessing the right people to address like things that come up in the workplace. So I thank you all so much for being here today and working with us throughout the last couple of weeks to get this thing up and running. All righty, y'all, we are winding down the time. So of course, us being the hub, we're going to provide you with some additional resources.
Darren, I'm sorry, Darren. I had a question, and I'll put that on my hand. Is it all right to ask it?
Oh, go right ahead, real quick.
Yes. Well, I don't know if I caught it, but in terms of some of especially if you're specifically subjected to racial epithets, inappropriate racial situations, these instances we're hearing might even increase, as we get closer in the presidential campaign, even at work. How does that play into workers' comp, if at all?
If I may, my name is Tristan. I'm one of the regional supervisors for the Information Assistance Unit. Workers' comp is basically when you suffered a work-related injury. One of the things that an insurance company will make a determination on is if this claimed injury arose out of employment and through course of employment. So you could file a claim if you think that your stress or harassment or whatnot is arising out of your employment and through course of your employment. But the insurance company who is providing workers' comp insurance coverage for your employer is going to make an investigation of your claim, and they will be the ones to make a determination whether your claim as submitted will be accepted in terms of their liability for purposes of workers' comp. And if, let's say, your claim has been denied for whatever reason, then you have the right to litigate the matter and go to the Workers' Compensation Appeals Board, which is the administrative court for workers' comp, and have a judge makes a determination whether or not your claim should actually have been accepted by the workers' comp insurance company. But keep in mind that when you go to the court and have a judge make a determination regarding your claim, you have to submit evidences and testimonies in order to put forward your case. And the same thing will be done by the insurance company who, let's say, made a determination that your claim is not work-related. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, and even though these instances we're now finding with increasing amounts are happening at work, it can still be greatly contested, which is a little bit complicated because to be, videoed and things like that, you have to give consent. So it's a gray area. Just do your best to
At the end of
with HR, get evidence as best you can, it sounds like.
Yeah, at the end of the day, if liability for the claimed injury becomes an issue, then you can go to court and have a workers' comp judge to make a determination about your claimed injury.
Thank you.
And it doesn't hurt. I'm sorry, it doesn't hurt to consult with an attorney for purposes of workers' comp, because one thing that I don't think was mentioned is for purposes of workers' comp, you are free to consult with attorneys who will provide you with free legal consultation. And if you end up retaining the services of an attorney, they will be paid on a contingency basis. And normally it's between 12 to 15% of any settlement amount that they're able to recover for you as a result of this claim. And if it so happened that you do not recover any money out of this claim, then you don't have any obligation to pay that attorney. Thank you.
No, thank you. And Yardana, thank you for the question as well. So we can clarify any lingering questions around workers' compensation. So I appreciate it. All righty. So we have some additional resources from the hub. We'll be dropping those in the chat. First, we have the impacted worker intake form. This is just a form that we created. So if you have experienced any kind of workplace violations or have had any specific experience that has been in relation to anti-Blackness, you can fill this out and you can connect it with your local Black Worker Center. And if you're not connected to one, the hub, that will be us. We can help get you connected to the appropriate Black Worker Center in your area. And we can also find additional pathways for you to file a claim or get additional resources. And speaking of resources, we also have our worker rights, resource guide here as well. This worker resource guide is super, super dope because it covers all of the workplace violations that we covered this year. So workers' compensation, discrimination, I can't think of so many that we've covered throughout the summer, but you can go there. We actually have a step-by-step case as far as how you will go about filing the claim, where you can find website links to go there and get everything taken care of. So check that out. We also have a Black wellness guide. We're super mindful that in workplaces and also adding your Black skin and your Black experience, a lot of things may come up, not just physically, emotionally as well. That's why we always invite Earth Lodge into the space to ground us and deeper meaning, because these work experiences a lot of times can be traumatizing. So we have created a Black wellness guide for you to go and look at as far as identifying Black therapists in your area, Black therapists that are affordable. We have playlists for your mental health, whether it's meditation music or just some cool R&B tunes. You can check that out. It has additional resources as well. It's not just therapists, it's not just playlists. Check it out for sure. We can go to our next slide. Upcoming events. So if y'all have been on these calls with us throughout the year, you know we've been talking about save the date for our Black August event. It is actually happening, like it's finally here. We will be having our Black August event on the 21st of August. You should RSVP. If you're going to be in the Los Angeles area, we will be having it at the Beehive location in South LA. So tell a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend and a homie of a homie and that homie too to come out and celebrate with the hub. It will be an event celebration from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Come out, have some good food, hear about the Echo Black Voices experience, the responses, see some data from our Black worker survey that we did throughout this year, and see some elected officials who work hard and also like are really inclusive of like your voices and all of the work that we do. Melissa, can we drop that link in the chat? So if somebody want to RSVP, they can RSVP for the link.
Or in the chat already. All the links are there.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. I just wanted to make sure, but yeah. Yeah, come to Black August. Also, we will be closing out our Echo Black Voices Worker Rights Experience on the 25th. That workshop and space will look a little different. I don't know if you ever attend the first one that we kicked off in February. It'll be similar to that. We want to hear from you. What has your experience been like in the space? What have you learned? What are some of the things you're taking with you and you're taking into your workspace? How are you going to advocate for yourself? We want to hear from you. We're going to invite everyone from the SoCal region. It's going to be a big, big family reunion. So be on the lookout for that. And your email, text blast, we'll be sending those out. Lastly, I want to thank all of our community partners in the hub, all of our Black worker centers, Earth Lodge, Care, Black Women for Wellness. Did I say Care? I did say Care. And our incubating BWCs, High Desert and Long Beach as well. And of course, our state rep, Department of Industrial Relations. We couldn't have made this possible without you all. So I thank you all so much. I thank you all for being patient with us as we design each one of these presentations for everyone to come and get this experience and this education from us. Thank you so much.